What's going on, guys? Ted from Immersion here, and rather than go through bullshit of having to deal with editing issues after the fact, I'm just going to jump right into it. I said I was going to do these Unearthed Arcana specific videos, so we're going to go in order. As I have noticed, they are going in alphabetical order, starting with Barbarian, Bard, Cleric, Druid, and now Fighter. Means we're going to get Monk coming up next, and Paladin, and so on and so forth. So, let's start with Barbarian. We'll read the little intro article because this was the first one they ever did. We have a bunch of D&D content for you to playtest, discuss, and mull over. We have enough material, in fact, that we'll be releasing Unearthed Arcana multiple times a month for the next few months, looking for new material on Mondays, and get ready to answer surveys because each week they release a survey that goes with the previous week's content. So there you go. Mike Merles and Jeremy Crawford are working on it, so Sage Advice is kind of on hold, but he is doing brief Sage Advice conversations on the Dragon Talk podcast. So, Barbarians. I have to say, I am a fan of these. They add unique abilities to a Barbarian, something that they typically don't have, which I think one of your most difficult challenges as a DM, if you're playing with a Barbarian, is you need to keep them engaged and interested. Barbarians, what they do well, but it can get a little tedious rather. When you're going to be doing the same thing over and over and again. You don't get a lot of uses for your bonus action or your reaction. If you go Totem, you barely get any. If you go Berserker, at least you do get a bonus action attack if you go into a Frenzied Rage, and you get a Retaliation at level 14. But other than that, you don't get much else, and you have a lot of limits in helping people out, in AoEs, in other types of damage, aside from your DM giving you a pretty cool weapon, which I feel magic items is sort of where your body, you kind of need to get cool items to allow you to do neat stuff. So, let's start here. These are all choosable at level 3. These are on our Barbarian Primal Paths. So first up, Path of the Ancestral Guardian. This, I'm not going to go too much into the actual lore of the class. You guys can read that on your own. But this is a barbarian that focuses very much on their ancestral past, their long line of barbarians, and the spirits and things that are associated with it. And you'll see that all of their abilities are very spirit-based. So, starting when you choose this at level 3, Spectral Warriors appear when you rage. These warriors distract a foe you designate and hinder its attempts to evade you. While you're raging, you can use a bonus action on your turn to choose one creature you can see within 5 feet. Until the start of your next turn, or until your rage ends, the chosen creature has disadvantage on any attack that doesn't target you, and if the creature takes the disengage action within 5 feet of you, its speed is halved until the end of its turn. So, that's really cool. It's a bonus action use. It's sort of like a mini non-damaging Spirit Guardians in a way. And it helps your allies, which is great. Choose one creature you can see within 5 feet of you. Yeah. 6 is the Ancestral Shield. The guardian spirits that aid you can provide protection for your allies. If you are raging and an ally you can see within 30 feet takes bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage, you can use your reaction to transfer your resistance to the damages types to the ally. The resistance applies to the incoming damage until the start of your next turn. The ally keeps the resistance and you lack it unless you also have it from another source other than rage. Which is, again, wonderful to be able to just, that could be the difference between your cleric dying or your healer or your squishy damage dealer dying, where you're like, oh crap, nope, you get resistance to that dragon's claw attack. And they manage to survive, and they can manage to fight another day or heal up the rest of the party or what need be. Level 10 is Consult the Spirits. You gain the ability to consult with your ancestral spirits. Right before you make an intelligence or wisdom check, you can give yourself advantage on the check. You can use this feature 3 times and regain expended uses when you finish a long rest. I will say that you can use this ability 3 times thing comes up a lot. A lot of they kind of have gotten away, it seems, in all these Unearthed Arcana from you can do this X modifier times per day, 1 plus X modifier times per day, once per short rest, once per long rest. It's 3. It's a solid 3 on a lot of these. An intelligence or wisdom check, you can give yourself advantage on the check. That's not a huge ability, but typically the level 6 ability is not the best, especially when you look at Totem. It's usually only okay, and the 10th for them was the Commune with Nature, so that's actually not a bad thing, but intelligence checks that you're going to be making, probably not a whole lot. Maybe to get out of a maze spell, maybe. But like you're making history checks as a barbarian, probably not going to be doing too many of those. On the level 14, Vengeful Ancestors. Your ancestral spirits grow powerful enough to strike your foes. When you or an ally you can see within 30 feet of you is damaged by a melee attack while you're raging, you can use your reaction to cause the attacker to take 2d8 force damage from the spirits. Fantastic ability. It is not gated to any specific usage. It's not times per day. It's not whatever. It's an enemy. It's an ally. You or an ally within 30 feet are damaged, which can happen pretty much any. It's damaged by melee. I'm sorry, melee attack while you're raging. But you can just flat out give 2d8 damage. There's no save. There's no roll to hit. It's just 2d8 damage. It's similar to the sort of Wrath of the Storm ability of a Tempest Cleric, except that ability forces a saving throw and doesn't work on allies, and this works, on people out to 30 feet. That's very powerful. I like the idea of the spirity Ancestral Barbarian. I feel like it's very akin to a Totem Barbarian in a lot of ways. Kind of that same focus, rather than focusing on spirit animals, you're focusing on spirits as a whole. There's nothing to say that your it can also be animal spirits if you want to reflavor it a little bit, but I think it's a very powerful class. I think bonus action and reaction utility is big, and some of the stuff is bonus action to, and then again you can use your two uses for your reaction and your bonus action, and the giving yourself advantage on wisdom or intelligence checks is kind of just gravy. So that's that. Path of the Storm Herald. This might be my personal favorite, although I do think I recognize that Path of the Ancestral Guardian is probably I don't want to call it the best, but I would say it's probably the most useful in the long run, because you get a lot of stuff that gives you things to do every turn. So this one is that one that focuses on nature and forces of nature and things like that. Elemental magics. At 3, choose one of the following options: desert, sea, or tundra. The environment you choose shapes the nature of the storm you conjure when you rage. While raging, you emanate an aura in a 10-foot radius. The effect of this aura depends on your chosen environment. Desert. Any enemy that ends its turn in your aura takes fire damage equal to 2 plus your barbarian level divided by 4. I feel like that was a really weird formula, but alright. C. At the end of each of your turn, you can choose a creature in your aura other than yourself. The target must make a dex save against a DC equal to 8, plus your proficiency bonus, plus your con mod. The target takes 2d6 lightning damage on a failed save and half as much on a successful. It goes up to 3d6 at 10 and 4d6 at 15. And then Tundra, any enemy that ends its turn in your aura takes cold damage equal to 2 plus your barbarian level divided by 4. I think these are interesting. Generating auras and things that are sort of passive abilities in D&D is always good, because you can't go wrong with passive abilities, because things that can kind of always be on, and these just activate when you rage. They don't have to be used either, but they happen outside of action economy, which is what's nice about them. As long as something is in the range, it affects them, which is great. I feel like it's an interesting concept that these are so different, that the tundra and the desert ones are exactly the same. If any enemy that's within 10 feet of you, at the end, that ends its turn within 10 feet of you, takes this 2 plus your barbarian level divided by 4. So, at most you're going to be doing maybe 5 damage at level 20. 20 divided by 4. Yeah. It also doesn't say whether it's rounded up or not. That could just be a simple oversight, but I do think it's weird that Tundra and Desert, which are both, fire and cold, are exactly the same. And then C forces a dexterity saving throw. You have to choose the creature, and the damage scales up as you level. Don't get me wrong, being able to do 4d6 damage to a creature that you can see at the end of each, and that's the end of each of your turns, whereas the other one is when the enemies end their turn in your aura. Which could be nice if an enemy's kind of weak and you move and then you end your turn, then they get blasted by your lightning damage. Storm Soul at level 6. You basically get resistance to whatever the damage type is. Desert being fire, sea being lightning, tundra being cold. I think in this one, sea wins because desert gets you not affected by extreme heat. Tundra is not affected by extreme cold, but sea gives you the ability to breathe underwater. I think that's a kind of... Now again, some of these are situational. I feel like all of them are situational, but breathing underwater I feel goes a lot further. At 10, you learn to use your mastery of the storm to protect your allies. While you're raging, allies within your aura, so that's within 10 feet, gain the benefit of your Storm Soul feature. So, for the Sea Storm Soul, if your allies are within 10 feet of you, they're resistant to lightning damage, and they can all breathe underwater, which could be good given certain circumstances. Then at level 14, we have Desert. The ground around you becomes shifting sand. Yeah, it's real shifty sand. Any enemy that attempts to move more than 5 feet per turn on the ground while in your aura must make a strength saving throw, 8 plus your proficiency bonus plus your con mod. On a failed save, the creature's speed drops to 0 until the start of its next turn. C. Roaring winds tear through the area around you. Any creature in the aura that you hit with an attack must make a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. And Tundra, the air around you coldly slows your foes. The area within your aura is difficult terrain for your enemies. So, Tundra's alright, it's just 10 feet around you is difficult terrain. I don't think that's that great. Desert is pretty solid. Any attempts to move more than 5 feet per turn on the ground while they're within this aura area, their speed will become 0, so they potentially can't leave. But C is an ability to knock them prone that when you hit them with an attack, which essentially gives you the... With a saving throw, the Wolf Totem Barbarian's ability where you can hit somebody and just knock them prone. This also doesn't say that they have a size limit, so I believe Wolf Totem says large size only. C here, I mean, it does give a saving throw, but it doesn't have a limit on the size. Do I like it? Yes. I do actually. I like the Sea Totem Barbarian quite a bit. I think it could be really fun. I think it'd actually be kind of cool to play a Triton Sea Totem Barbarian. So you're sort of this Aquaman, Wrath of the Sea type guy. I think that'd be pretty neat. And then Path of the Zealot is the final one. This is sort of a holy warrior, a holy barbarian, I guess. Barbarian who channels divine abilities. So, Divine Fury at level 3. You become cloaked in Divine Fury when you rage. If you do so, at the end of your turn for that duration, each creature within 5 feet of you takes damage equal to 1d6 plus half your barbarian level. The damage is necrotic or radiant. You choose the type of the damage when you gain this feature. Great ability, because that's at the end of your turn for the duration of your rage. 1d6 plus half your barbarian level. So potentially 1d6 plus 10 damage. Not bad, because you're going to be getting up close to enemies. That's just free damage to anybody within 5 feet. So it could, if you wade into a group of enemies, hit a fair amount. And again, this is at level 3. So at level 3, that's 1d6, I'm assuming, rounded, plus 1. You could potentially walk your way into a group of kobolds and just at the end of your turn, just kill them all. Also, at level 3, you're marked for Endless Battle. If a spell would have the sole purpose of restoring you to life, but not undeath, the caster does not need material components to cast the spell on you. Not really big at 3rd level, but that means no diamonds for your cleric and or bard and or druid and or paladin resurrecting you. They can just do it for free, just casting the spell, not using up the material components. Which is big, because if you want to have your big, tanky barbarian around, it makes it a lot easier. At 6, you have Zealous Focus. The divine power that fuels your rage can shield you from harm. If you fail a saving throw while raging, you can instead succeed on the saving throw as a reaction. However, doing so immediately ends your rage, and you can't use your rage until you finish a short or long rest. That is a little rough, because you're kind of shut out of one of your class's core abilities. However, if it's a very clutch saving throw, like a suggestion to murder your friends, or something to that effect, it might be worth dropping the rage to just pass the save automatically. Zealous Presence, at level 10, you learn to channel divine power through to inspire zealotry in others. As an action, you howl in fury and release a battle cry infused with divine energy. Every ally within 60 feet of you gains advantage on attack rolls and saving throws until the start of your next turn. Once you use this feature, you can't use it until you finish a long rest. Yeah, it's not bad to just give all your allies within 60 feet advantage on attacks, especially if with your advantage on initiative, you can go first and then just be like, this turn we're going to wail on these guys. Rah! And then they all get advantage. Especially also if you're against spellcasters or dragons, advantage on, or really anything, advantage on saving throws goes a long way. And then 14 is Rage Beyond Death. While raging, having 0 hit points doesn't knock you unconscious. You still must make death saving throws, and you suffer the normal effects of taking damage while at 0 hit points. However, if you would die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends. So that's just, you know, kind of the whole Holy Warrior Zealot thing. You're continuing to power through even though your body is destroyed. What I don't understand is, however, if you die due to failing death saving throws, you don't die until your rage ends. I guess that means you're technically beyond the ability to heal because you've died, so you just live on till your rage ends, and at which point you die. Regardless, you just drop dead. You can't be healed because you already have failed your death saving throws. So, anyway, guys, that's the Barbarian Primal Paths in Unearthed Arcana. What do you think about it so far? Barbarians, does this change your outlook on barbarians? Does it make you want to play a barbarian when perhaps you thought it would be too boring before and there wasn't enough options for you? Let me know what you guys think. I'm pretty curious. I have wanted to play a barbarian for quite some time, just because I think it might be fun to just turn my head off for once. Not necessarily that you have to do that, and if you roll stats, you could potentially be a quite intelligent barbarian. I've been toying with that idea for quite some time, and these really make it easier. The Storm Herald and the Ancestral Guardian really give me some ideas for pretty cool character concepts. So, let me know what you guys think. Have you tried these out, and have you playtested them at all? Will you be planning to playtest them? I'm just curious. Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next time.